So how then the most recent thing, which is the boiler room situation, how does that uh, come about? Like, do
How
they reach
does
out to
that
you?
come
Do
about?
you reach out to them? Why is this important?
So I applied for a grant with this other organization in the UK called Cello HQ.
Right, I've seen them.
So if
Yeah.
you, I'm sure you know about Cello. Cello had released this vinyl during the pandemic,
Yep.
which had artists from India, Pakistan, and Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
And all proceeds from that, half of it went to an Indian charity and half of it came to Zindagi Trust in Pakistan.
Hmm.
Uh, so they were one of the few partners in this thing called the Dialed In Festival, which also began last year, which is a festival that happens in the UK where it's all South Asian artists completely
Right.
celebrating their brown heritage, right?
Okay.
Um, so they also wanted to do something in Pakistan, and obviously we wanted to create an exchange in the UK. So we applied for a grant together. Um, but whilst we were writing that grant, I just had a bit of a brain fart where I was like, do you think Boiler Room would be interested in working with KCR to do Boiler Room in Pakistan? And they're like, that's a good idea. Let's just discuss it. So we eventually reached out to Boiler Room and they were interested. And the rest is history. Ho gaya tha.
Wow.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't easy to pull off. Yeah.
How how long? Acha, I wanted to know set up. Like, where was this? What was the venue? And how
Where was
much?
that?
Where was the venue where all the recordings took place?
That was in
And
Karachi, in
yeah,
Kurangi. Yeah.
what's that place? I forget.
District 19.
District 19. हाँ मेरे दिमाग में
Yeah.
basement 17 आ रहा था. I don't know. But yeah, District 19. And what was the setup like? Because like the video production वगैरह was all boiler room level. Karachi
Yeah,
में,
so here's the
yeah.
interesting thing. Uh, the entire production was entirely Pakistani.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we had like no white people
Right. Right.
involved on
Exactly.
this. Like, I mean, at least on the ground. We did take like obviously instruction from
Of
Ballroom and
course.
everything like that. And Ahadadream, Ahad jo hai, from the UK, who's a established DJ and producer, he was in town as well on the ground, and he had worked for Ballroom before, so he knew what the production kind of standards were. But for the most part, like we literally set up that venue from kind of scratch,
Huh.
like in terms of the technical requirements to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that pretty much KCR handled, like KCR NAS, we handled that. Ft.Wa Studio helped out with being the video crew that KCR had hired.
Okay. Okay.
And obviously we had District 19. I had gotten Faisal Rafi to do all the audio work
Yeah.
for the live sets.
Right.
And one of the best sound vendors, like to do all the sound stuff.
Right.
So literally like we set up everything like a day before, left from there like 2 a.m, came back the next day at like 10, set up for the inside, started doing recordings. Like literally the entire plan and schedule that I had made also had like 3 hours of contingency between the live sets and DJ sets in case there were any delays, because that happens in Pakistan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those delays did happen, so there's
What
like,
was the cause of the delays? Like light chali gayi,
yeah,
that sort of
cause for
stuff?
the delays, there are many things. One, though, I mean, obviously we had accounted for azan breaks, wo to tha, but then we had like technical issues. No one had ever like done that kind of recording, like
Yeah.
multicam kind of,
Yeah.
like this level play. Like, will be 9 performances across a day, like an entire festival, and make sure it happens within like 12 hours,
Hmm.
kind of thing. हालांकि like 14-15 घंटा लगे थे.
Hmm.
But like we started 11 in the morning and we wrapped up at around 3 at night, uh, to do the entire thing. And
Yeah.
the worst part was the reason why the technical glitches were also happening was because it was the hottest day of the year. It was
It was super
43
hard.
degrees.
People said, yeah.
There was no wind at all. It was extremely hot. If you look at my set, I'm literally dying
Yeah.
towards the end. I'm
Yeah.
just dancing.
You and Aswan both swimming. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was every time I was looking down at the decks, sweat was going into my lenses, and I was seeing like this weird like watery thing. So eventually, halfway through the set, I just took my glasses off. I was
Oh,
like,
that's why you took them off. Acha, acha.
no, because if you look at the entire set, I tried cleaning it about at least 10 times. I just gave up.
Acha.
I just gave up. So yeah, I mean, हुआ ये था कि like generator trip हो रहा था, या load ज़्यादा पड़ रहा था क्योंकि ACs were on the inside,
course,
where
of
all
course.
the video equipment was, where they were monitoring everything,
Right.
and that wasn't accounted for. So things were tripping, lights kept going off, generator, trip out ho raha tha. Few things like,
First
technical
time,
issues.
is it your first time working on a production at this scale?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, a production that I'm personally involved in setting up, yes.
Yeah.
But no, I've done Coke Studio
Coke
before, and
Studio is
that's
similar.
much
Yeah.
bigger nightmare than this.
Acha.
Um,
Yeah, sure. Bigger
because
sets.
that's multiple days, multiple
Yeah.
hours. Like
Yeah.
you're like working 18 hours a day, kind of thing. And just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a well-oiled machine, but a very tiring.
और वो कितना था, like who's doing all the edits and stuff? That's done by Fatwa?
So literally the edits also, like John Zabe from KCR sat and did himself. Like
Wow.
बैठ के उसने किया, मैं उसके साथ बैठा था, like looking over things. We'd have to call in a friend to help us with grading. So literally वही community effort था वापस से. Like essentially the core post-production team of the entire thing was John Zabe, myself, Faisal Rafi, and then to quite an extent, my wife as well, Sana, who ended up making the Boiler Room Pakistan logo.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then obviously KCR also has like one or two people that were helping out, like, for example, animation, helping out the trailer edits and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it was a very, very small team that did it, but we did it.
Yeah. और कितना वो था turnaround between like the event and delivery?
So the event actually happened, you could say about a month before.
Acha.
So it took us about 2.5.
That's not a lot of
3
time.
weeks. Yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks to edit all of those things, make sure
Yeah.
uska sara kuch, put it up.